Most people see a plant like this and give up on it immediately. The leaves are yellowing, the stems are drooping, and it looks like it's already too far gone to save. But what if that's not actually true? What if the problem isn't that your plant is dying, but that it's starving? Here's the part almost nobody tells you. A plant that looks lifeless is often still fighting to survive beneath the surface. And if you catch it at the right moment and give it exactly what it needs, you can turn things around faster than you think. Have you ever thrown a plant away and later wondered if you could have saved it? Or maybe you've got one sitting somewhere right now that doesn't look like it has much time left. What if this was the moment that changed that? Welcome to Timeless Harvest, where we keep things simple, natural, and effective, the way growing was meant to be. Today you're going to discover 5 powerful natural fertilizers, made from things you probably already have at home, that can revive struggling plants and bring them back to life. And here's the best part. Some of these start working in just a few days if you use them the right way. So before you give up on that plant, stick with me, because one of these might be exactly what it's been waiting for. And as you watch, I want you to think about this. Which of your plants needs help right now? Let me know in the comments, and let's bring it back together. Number 1, Compost tea. If there's one thing on this list that acts fast and sets the foundation for everything else, it's this. Think of compost tea as a direct nutrient boost that goes straight into the soil and immediately starts working where your plant needs it most. The roots. When a plant begins to struggle, the soil is often the real problem. It's either depleted, lifeless, or lacking the microbial activity that helps roots absorb nutrients properly. Compost tea fixes that by reintroducing beneficial microorganisms along with a gentle, balanced supply of nutrients that your plant can actually use right away. Instead of forcing growth, it restores the natural system in the soil, which is why plants respond to it so quickly. Have you ever noticed a plant that just seems stuck? No new growth, dull leaves, nothing improving no matter how much you water it. That's usually a sign the soil itself needs help, not just the plant. Making it is simple, but doing it right makes all the difference. Take a handful of well-aged compost. This could be from your compost bin or even quality store-bought compost, and place it into a bucket of water. Let it sit and steep for about 24 to 48 hours, giving it an occasional stir to help release all those nutrients and microbes into the water. What you're left with is a rich, dark liquid that carries life back into your soil. Strain it if you want a smoother mix. Then pour it slowly around the base of your plant, making sure it soaks into the root zone rather than just sitting on the surface. You don't need to flood the plant. Just enough to reach the roots is perfect. And here's something most people overlook: the timing. Applying this when the soil is slightly moist, not bone dry, helps the roots absorb everything more effectively. Within a few days, you may start to notice subtle changes. Leaves lifting, color improving, growth slowly returning. If you had to choose just one method to try first, this is the one that gives you the strongest overall recovery. Number 2, banana peel fertilizer. This is one of those things most people throw away without a second thought, not realizing they're discarding one of the easiest natural nutrient sources their plants could benefit from. Banana peels are packed with potassium, along with smaller amounts of phosphorus and calcium, and those are exactly the nutrients that help plants strengthen their internal structure. When a plant has weak stems, curling edges, or leaves that look burnt around the tips, it's often struggling to maintain balance at a cellular level. Potassium plays a huge role in regulating water movement within the plant, which directly affects how firm, upright, and resilient it looks. Have you ever had a plant that just couldn't seem to hold itself up properly, no matter how much you watered it? Or leaves that looked dry and damaged even though the soil wasn't? That's usually where something like this can make a noticeable difference. Using it properly is what turns this from a simple kitchen scrap into something powerful. Take 2 or 3 banana peels and place them into a jar or container of water. Then let them soak for about 48 hours so the nutrients slowly leach out into the liquid. After that, remove the peels and use the water to feed your plants at the base, allowing it to soak into the soil where the roots can absorb it. You can dilute it slightly if you want to stretch it further, but even in its simple form, it's effective. And here's a small detail that matters more than people realize. Don't pour it all in one spot. Move around the base of the plant so the entire root system gets access to those nutrients. Over the next several days, you may start to notice stems becoming a bit firmer, leaves looking less stressed, and overall structure improving. If your plant has been looking weak or unstable, this is one of the simplest ways to start correcting that without overwhelming it. Number 3, Epsom salt solution. This one surprises a lot of people because it doesn't look like something that belongs anywhere near your plants. But it can make a visible difference when used the right way. Epsom salt provides magnesium and sulfur, 2 nutrients that play a direct role in how your plant produces energy and maintains that rich green color. When magnesium is lacking, the plant can't produce chlorophyll efficiently, and that's when you start to see leaves turning pale or yellow while the veins stay green. It creates that washed-out, tired look that makes the whole plant seem like it's fading. Have you noticed leaves that look almost striped with green veins but yellow in between? Or a plant that just won't deepen in color no matter how well you care for it? That's usually a sign something is missing at a deeper level, not just a surface issue. The way you apply it is simple, but precision matters. Dissolve a tablespoon of Epsom salt into about a liter of water, making sure it's fully mixed so it doesn't sit in crystals at the bottom. From there, you can either water the soil lightly or use it as a foliar spray, misting the leaves so the nutrients are absorbed more directly. Spraying is especially effective because magnesium can be taken in through the leaf surface, giving you a faster response compared to waiting for it to move through the soil. But here's the part you don't want to ignore. This is something you use occasionally, not constantly. Once every few weeks is enough to correct a deficiency without throwing off the balance of your soil. Over the next several days, the change can be subtle but steady, with leaves beginning to regain a healthier tone, and the plant looking more energized overall. If your plant looks dull, pale, or like it's slowly losing its vibrancy, this might be the missing piece that brings it back into balance. Number 4. Fish emulsion. This is easily one of the fastest acting natural fertilizers you can use, especially when your plant looks like it's running on empty. It's made from broken down fish parts, things like bones, skin, and tissue. And while that might not sound appealing, it creates a nutrient-rich liquid that plants respond to almost immediately. What makes it so effective is its high nitrogen content, which is the nutrient responsible for pushing out new growth and restoring that deep, healthy green color. When a plant starts losing its lower leaves, turning pale from the bottom up, or just seems to have stopped growing altogether, nitrogen deficiency is usually at the center of it. And here's something worth paying attention to. Have you ever watered a plant consistently, made sure it had sunlight, and yet it still looked like it was slowly declining anyway? That's often because water alone can't replace nutrients that have already been used up in the soil. At that point, the plant isn't just thirsty, it's hungry. Using fish emulsion properly is what unlocks its full effect without overwhelming your plant. Most store-bought versions are concentrated, so you'll need to dilute it, usually about 1 tablespoon per gallon of water, though it's always worth checking the label for the exact ratio. Once mixed, apply it directly to the soil around the base of your plant, allowing it to soak down into the root zone where it can be absorbed quickly. You don't need to drench the plant. A steady, even application is enough to start feeding it. One thing you'll notice almost immediately is the smell. It's strong. There's no way around that, but that's also a sign of how rich it is in organic matter. Because of that, it's best used outdoors or in well-ventilated areas. Within just a few days, many plants begin to respond with subtle but clear signs of recovery. Slightly brighter leaves, improved firmness, and in some cases the start of new growth pushing through. Over time, that response becomes more obvious as the plant regains strength and momentum. If your plant looks like it's stalled, drained, or losing vitality from the ground up, this is one of the most reliable ways to bring it back into an active growth phase. There's also an important balance to understand here, because more doesn't mean better. Fish emulsion is powerful precisely because it's concentrated, and overusing it can lead to overly rapid, weak growth or even stress the plant further. A light feeding every couple of weeks is usually enough to maintain progress without tipping that balance. And here's a detail many people overlook. The condition of your soil still matters. If the soil is compacted or not draining well, even the best fertilizer won't reach the roots effectively. So as you apply this, take a moment to check how your soil feels. Is it loose and able to absorb water, or is it dense and resistant? That small observation can make a big difference in how well this works. When used thoughtfully, fish emulsion doesn't just give your plant a temporary boost. It helps restore the steady, consistent growth that healthy plants are supposed to have. Number 5. Coffee grounds. This is one of the easiest habits to build because it fits into something you're already doing every day, yet most people never think to use it this way. Used coffee grounds are a gentle source of nitrogen, which plays a key role in keeping leaves full, rich in color, and actively growing. When a plant starts to look dull, slightly faded, or just not as vibrant as it used to be, it can be a sign that it's lacking that steady supply of nutrients that support healthy foliage. Coffee grounds also do something else that often goes unnoticed. They slowly improve the structure of your soil. Over time, they help loosen it, improve drainage, and create an environment where roots can actually breathe and expand. Have you ever had soil that stays wet for too long? or feels hard and compact when you touch it? That kind of environment makes it difficult for roots to function properly, and even a well-watered plant can struggle under those conditions. Using coffee grounds the right way is where most people either get results or run into problems. After brewing your coffee, allow the grounds to cool and dry slightly so they don't clump together. Then sprinkle a thin, even layer around the base of your plant and gently work it into the top layer of soil, no deeper than an inch. The key here is restraint. It's tempting to add more, thinking it will speed things up, but too much can actually compact the soil and block airflow, which works against everything you're trying to fix. A light application every couple of weeks is more than enough to support gradual improvement. Coffee grounds are especially helpful for plants that prefer slightly acidic conditions, where they can help unlock nutrients that might otherwise remain trapped in the soil. Over time, you may notice the leaves taking on a healthier tone, and the overall plant looking more balanced and alive. It's a simple shift, something you would have thrown away, now quietly feeding your plants and improving the soil beneath them with every use. Now here's the reality check, and it's important to understand this so you don't set the wrong expectations. These natural fertilizers are powerful, and they can absolutely turn a struggling plant around, but they are not magic. If a plant has been neglected for too long, if the roots have completely rotted away, or if the soil has stayed in a damaging condition for weeks without correction, there comes a point where recovery becomes unlikely. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means the plant passed a threshold that no fertilizer alone can fix. A lot of people assume they just need to feed the plant more, when in reality the issue may be deeper. Poor drainage, suffocating roots, or long-term stress that weaken the plant beyond repair. Have you ever kept trying everything you could think of, only to watch the plant continue to decline anyway? That's usually a sign that the problem wasn't just nutrients, but the entire environment the plant was trying to survive in. But here's the part that matters most. Timing changes everything. When you catch the early signs, when the leaves just start to yellow, when the plant begins to droop or lose its energy, that's when these methods work best. That's where you still have a strong, living root system ready to respond, ready to absorb nutrients, ready to recover. And if you're unsure whether your plant is still alive, there's a simple way to check. Gently scratch the surface of a stem with your fingernail and look closely. Do you see green underneath or any sign of moisture? If you do, that plant is still alive, and there's still a real chance to bring it back. At that point, it's no longer about guessing. It's about acting quickly and giving the plant what it needs while it still has the strength to respond. And there you have it. 5 simple, natural ways to bring a struggling plant back from the edge without relying on anything complicated or expensive. The key is paying attention to what your plant is showing you and acting early, because the sooner you respond, the better your chances of turning things around. You don't need to try everything at once either. Start with the one that matches what your plant is going through, and give it a few days to respond. Have you already tried any of these before, or is there one you're planning to test out first? And more importantly, which plant in your space needs saving right now? If this helped you see your plants a little differently, go ahead and leave a comment and tell me what's going on with them. I enjoy hearing what you're dealing with and helping you figure it out. And if you're new here, this is what we do at Timeless Harvest. Simple, natural methods that actually work in the real world. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because in the next video, we're going to look at one common watering mistake that quietly destroys plants even when everything else seems right. Take care of your plants, and I'll see you in the next one.